Right, hey guys, how are we doing? We're continuing with Totally Not Mark's reviews of One Piece. Can't get enough of it. We're checking out what he thought of Enies Lobby and Post-Enies Lobby, and we're just going to get straight into it.
So I have to write this script on my birthday, right?
Boo-hoo.
I don't even care.
Sniper King! Shoot down that flag! That was an amazing moment.
Best arc One Piece has. Okay, look, I know, I say that all the time.
It just keeps getting better. I think that. Every time I start a new arc, I'm like, But then it's like, ugh. Yeah. It was sick. Yes, definitely. Boom. I loved it. Oh, they were so beautiful. Yeah, it really does. Oh, the Nico Robbie bit. I want to live.
Best saga for sure. Water 7 was all set up, and this is just one long.
Yeah, Water 7 just set this up, man.
Crazy stuff. I have all sorts of opinions on.
Oh, Chopper when he goes mental.
Activate gear 2 and grab a snack because I'm totally not Mark, and these are my first impressions of and review 4. A climax to end all climaxes, and the utterly dumbfounding, ridiculous explosion of mystery and answers that came after. This is Enies Lobby and its aftermath.
Mate. Oh, don't. Shoot down that flag.
This arc was so
the merry-go. No, don't even. Oh.
Stressful, but mostly fun. This was probably the arc I read through the quickest, which to me is indicative of how ridiculously engaging and gripping this section was. It's not an overstatement.
I find that as soon as you're like not putting it down, you know, oh, you're in.
Couple that with the fact that I was left in an emotional heap at its climax. Effectively, this, as I said in the intro, very much is the climax to what was effectively a whole buttload of build-up, taking cues from the last 3 sagas.
Yeah,
and after
it definitely was.
The roller coaster of words that is
Oh, mate, yes, the name drops. Oh.
Broke my brain in all sorts of ways. So yeah, look forward to that basket of spiders towards the back end of this video. And I use the word basket of spiders in the most loving way possible. But before I get into the juicy nectar of the Post-Enies Lobby material, let's dive into the main dish first to explore how and why it worked as effectively as it did for me. Enies Lobby is essentially an action-packed.
That fight goes on for a bit, doesn't it, with Luffy and that guy?
Friendship, loyalty, and responsibility. And I love it.
Yes.
But moreover, to reiterate again, this Enies Lobby arc acts as one big girthy climax for this Water 7 saga.
Boom.
And one aspect that I thought helped it feel breezy and light was the number of characters.
I like a little bit of an explanation on devil fruits as well.
At one point in the story, Luffy is doing his own thing, the Straw Hats are too. We get the Frankie family's perspective, the Shipwright's perspective.
Boom, they are so cool.
Really awesome character stuff with CP9. And due to this arc acting as a climax once again, Oda as a writer doesn't need to spend much time establishing new characters.
No, we're already there.
However, that's not to say that there aren't new characters introduced.
Oh, the giant bit. Oh, I loved it.
CP9, and in doing so, establishes small tensions between them, which I
was it they were protecting it because they were told that like their leaders were being trapped there? But they've been lied to because Usopp tells them. Oh, that was amazing. The giraffe thing.
It was. Something I did notice that was somewhat interesting was the introduction of a power level set for the CP9.
The power levels was a bit weird.
On one hand, I really like this because it's a straightforward, easy to understand metric
I
pecking order
wasn't
that tells
very
us, the viewer, where the real
on
threats
board with
lie
that.
in this CP9 group to Luffy and the others when and if they are going to interact with these characters, which proves to be stupidly effective later on. It's easy to see here that Oda knew and understood that the audience's understanding of their dynamic was important for what he had planned coming up.
Right, yeah, it helps with this, and I'm glad they haven't really touched on it later on.
His idea to play out in an ideal world. From what I've read so far in the story, Oda generally prefers to establish who is stronger than who by context clues rather than straight out giving us a list. He's achieved this in the past as the other organizations have.
Definitely Baroque Works was cool, yeah.
And I don't think any of us would really have too much trouble ranking the Straw Hats in terms of strength either.
No.
Or maybe you would, who knows. But this particular CP9 group was a unique situation, so let's accept the power level Zippermouth guy for what he is. A means to introduce the audience to the pecking order of the CP9 agents. It just so happens to be more tell than it is show, which is sort of unlike One Piece. But
yeah, a bit different, but it works.
Identifies Oda's awareness for how important it is to manage an audience's expectations. He let us know their power rankings because it will be very important later. And aside from that, he establishes the hell out of this world. Without delay, as is the case,
the world building is so freaking amazing, man.
We get gorgeous gorgeous establishing shots of the area.
The explanation of the circle, the drop. Yeah.
Around this government facility too. In the past, we've seen Oda break down areas like Arlong Park, Alabasta, and Skypiea, all to fantastic effect in combat.
The gates.
He loves to establish where all the fighting is relative
and the
to
gates
each other,
helps for explaining later on as well, doesn't it? Actually.
Because once again, it adds tons of
because aren't there 3? And when they open, they change the currents and stuff.
In real time. The struggle is visceral, and we can feel it all the more as a viewer or reader as a result. Only this time, there's one significant difference. It's under the context of a plan of action, exposed to us through the clever veil of the crew establishing a strategy.
We gotta get there.
What follows this explanation of the plan to rescue Robin demonstrates to me Oda knows how to pull off a fantastic subversion that puts the viewer into the mindset and shoes of its characters.
Definitely.
Check it out. After going to great lengths to make sure that we understood the plan and that we understand the area too, instead of following the plan like they were expecting, he instead uses the established characters to inform the next move. In other words, he asks himself, what would Luffy do in this situation?
Oh, he just doesn't. He just ignores everyone and goes off, innit? I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's about right.
I loved it. Right, we got a plan. And then Luffy goes, okay, bye, zoop.
This is a stunning example of the character in the story dictating how the story is written and playing out. Have you ever watched a show where you felt like the characters were making decisions or doing things they normally wouldn't? This was a particular point of contention in Dragon Ball Super, as many felt as though Goku was making decisions and acting as though he was out of character. This creates a dissonance between the story and the audience. You want your audience to go on the ride.
I definitely believed Luffy would do that.
Every decision you're making in it. And so often when I'm reading One Piece do I forget that this place isn't real and that these characters don't actually exist. Rarely do I think, man, Oda, what the hell are you doing here? Because of its characters and world, One Piece is one of the most immersive experiences.
Definitely.
And this choice on Luffy's behalf not only provides a nice subversion to inject tension and surprise into the current circumstances, but also offers great insight into Luffy as a character, deciding to, without hesitation, to launch himself into quite
fights everybody. He doesn't care. Yeah. Absolutely amazing.
Incredibly dangerous for him. A whole mess of it, all in an effort to save someone who isn't convinced that
Oh mate, he just doesn't care as long as as soon as he's focused on something, he goes for it. Doesn't care about the odds.
Get out of there. But it's the extra detail he adds that makes this so thrilling to watch unravel. Oda is acutely aware of how the story will make most of us feel as we read through it. So therefore, when we are expecting the crew to diligently execute this plan as a solid unit, we are taken aback by the sudden dismissal of that by Luffy. However, it doesn't bother us because it's perfectly within his character to do something like this. And in the same manner, he granted us reassurance in a scene where all the characters were making the plan. In the blink of an eye, Oda catapults us out of our comfort zone
completely,
and plunging us into the battle alongside Luffy, experiencing the same chaotic energy he's feeling, achieving a sense of connection.
And then you see them behind, charactered up, and they're meeting up. Just to show my appreciation for it, the action that Luffy gets involved with here as he finds himself surrounded by various Marines time and again are both exhilarating to watch, so fun,
also hilarious,
so much fun. Oh yeah, he uses the guy as a shield, doesn't he?
And in doing so, unconsciously, Oda is also making sure we recognize the significant parts of this area in person. We need to have a comprehensive understanding of how this area is structured in order for a lot of the story to make sense.
Yeah.
So, Luffy doing the Rubberman hokey pokey all over the place.
It's just showing us how everything's laid out, isn't it?
Yeah. Way to communicate all of this information to us without belaboring the point in dialogue. The stare down.
Oh,
the massive moment that this
they do such amazing panels where you have the whole team there.
I love it for a host of reasons, but a large part of what made this
it's so
cool for me was how it was set up.
Oof.
Everyone here for this pose-off wasn't an easy feat and took a considerable amount of careful planning on Oda's behalf. To get here, every single character's abilities are used to tremendous effect in this section, and really, this whole arc. And it doesn't stop here, but more to my point, a lazier writer wouldn't have made much of an effort to incorporate all the secondary shipwright and
no, everyone's in it. Everyone's still going.
On the facility. When the crew made their first push through the forces of Enies Lobby, it was like storming the beaches of Normandy. Enemies everywhere. With the only goal to keep pushing forward to get into a position to help their allies. But what I admired about this sequence was how every last character, from the giant animals to the shipwrights to the Frankie
they all had a moment.
A couple of giants that were befriended to their side, they were all used to tremendous effect in pursuing this final effort.
Definitely.
Heck, even Kokoro gets involved during this section somewhat, which not only makes the struggle to the top of this epic stare-down thrilling, not only does it make it feel more real, but it also grants believable, valuable utility to the characters that supported their efforts. They are not just cheerleaders in this instance. Without
They're
these
part of it.
secondary characters, there's a very real chance that they wouldn't have made it in time.
Everybody helped.
So, that takes care of how the Straw Hats got there. How did Luffy get there? This door fruit fuel. Sorry, I just had to do the Dublin accent there. But yeah, he has to go through this guy who ranks relatively well amidst the CP9 posse. And one thing that I really want to say in response to this scene in particular is that I very much enjoy the fight scenes of One Piece.
They're class. Absolutely class. Like, I'm just on manga and I think it's amazing.
Every decision a character makes within them. In this, I specifically love mechanically what this new Gear 2 and Gear 3 system means for combat.
Yeah, it's cool.
In Luffy's regard. In Shonen,
It takes a lot out of him, doesn't it? Jesus.
That amplify the user's ability but come with a built-in time limit or drawback for using it. The Kaioken in Dragon Ball is my favorite technique in fiction, which is no small feat considering there are thousands of techniques in that series.
There is.
And
Jesus.
I love techniques like this as much as I do because it makes the setting and circumstances much more suspenseful. It's a gamble, and it
Yeah, like, what if it doesn't work?
the values of Shonen Jump
What if he
as a
tries to
whole,
pull it off and then,
where
like, the
tenacity to push past
bad guy
your
still
limits
gets up
for the
afterwards?
sake
Whoa.
of others? It's great, and I was absolutely overjoyed when I saw it show up in this particular battle. However, while I can appreciate that this isn't important to a lot of people, one aspect I have continuously praised this show for has been its consistency in foreshadowing every major event or beat that happens in the story. And I praise that because I love the passion and consistency that is engraved into this franchise. One Piece is a series that rewards you time and again for paying attention.
Yep.
It's for that very reason that Usopp and Luffy's falling out was as amazing as it was. But Gear 2, Luffy said he learned it off screen, and I guess that's fine? Or at least that's what I thought before I reread that scene. And when I did, something stood out to me that added so much color to the occasion. It was this quote from Luffy right before he began fighting with Gear 2. He says, "When I lost to Aokiji, I thought, if I was going to meet others just as strong out at sea, I had to grow stronger, to protect my friends. Even if I'm not that strong, I have friends I want to be with. I've got to be stronger than everyone or I'll lose them. I came up with a way to fight at top strength so I won't have to lose anyone. So no one has to go away." And for me, this is the reason why the introduction of this technique on a plot level can be ignored or excused. It might have come out of nowhere in terms of plot, however, it comes from a very believable and emotionally rich place in the character of Luffy. On a thematic level, it's perfect. The existence or presence of these gear techniques are a reflection of Luffy's internal struggles as a captain.
Definitely, like, he's the leader, and he's like, I need to make sure these guys are safe.
He achieves this so that no one has to go away, which begs me to ask, what happened to him as a child?
Yeah.
What he's feeling here.
Why is he the way he is? Yeah.
Natural in this moment, but the wording feels like it's coming from a specific memory.
Like he's lost something before, yeah.
And because of that, I am more interested than ever to learn more about this fascinating little character. And once Luffy disposes of this lesser agent with relative ease, all of the independent battles each of the Straw Hats are fighting come to a glorious finish, culminating on a phenomenal panel presenting the entire crew standing defiantly against the world's government. They're here for their friend,
Nico Rabbit. And she wants to live. Shoot down that flag. Shoot down that flag.
Robin's flashback.
Yo, Robin's flashback.
Flashback sequence that were presented in this
When we learn it. Oh, this was sad.
flashback sequence out of all of the Straw Hats that I've been presented personally. And I think out of all of them, this flashback might hit to more people on a more personal level.
Yeah, definitely. I do feel that. I talked about that with Postal actually on his
Essentially, this flashback deals
Discord
with
chat.
trauma, misery, isolation, and fear Robin has grown up with. Kicking things
It's more
off with
relatable.
Robin being bullied and neglected as a young child due to her powers and lack of a parental figure present. Immediately, right out the gate, we sympathize and get behind Nico Robin as she floats from place to place, struggling to find a place where she belongs.
Yeah, she fits in, yeah.
She gets to the scholars of the island. that are
Yay,
looking
she's
into the
gonna
missing
be a
100
scholar.
years of history. There we see Robin feel finally at ease with someone who is genuinely friendly to her. We learn that she gets into archaeology simply because it was a way for her to bond or connect with other people. Naturally, she enjoys it, but the goal of this flashback is to hammer home the notion to us that she wants to be accepted and loved for who she is. Begging to have some relationship with anyone as her mother isn't even around. That is, until she arrives to warn the island of a massive buster call that's been launched. During this exchange, I learned a whole mess of fascinating pieces of information. One piece that stood out to me primarily being the obvious. The government wants to stop and squash the illegal investigation of the missing 100 years. And because of this fear on behalf of the government, it becomes obvious that they themselves have been burying information that made them look perhaps bad in the past.
Like, what's going on, man?
Maybe something even more sinister. Furthermore, there are some gorgeous and heartwarming scenes in this flashback as Robin finally gets to embrace her mother before she's taken away from her again, never to see her again. Robin then flounders from town to town, surviving. She needs to. She deserves
She's
to live.
got a huge bounty on her head that just doesn't let her fit in anywhere, man.
That very well might reveal the true history of the world. But over the next 20 years, she gets beaten down by life.
Every time anyone takes her in.
Disgusting, deplorable people that use and abuse her.
For the bounty.
As the flashback ends, with her friends there for her, she realizes she isn't alone. That she finally has found a place.
She wants to live, man. She wants to live.
She's allowed to want to stay alive. Revealed in a panel that made me weep with joy as she declared,
Oh, mate.
what a phenomenal sequence, and if I didn't already want her to be rescued, now I do with a burning, intense passion.
So bad. I'm tearing up. Oh, this was cool. It was like, find the key, and they're numbered.
At this point in the tale, after Robin accepts that she wants to live, the goal remains to rescue her, but now the gang are given a secondary goal and reason to split up into
Everyone's got keys.
Groups. Robin, you see, is cuffed with a sea prism and thus cannot use her powers. She also feels incredibly weak, and so as Luffy rushes to her aid, the rest of the crew partake in intense combat against the rest of
the fights are so good.
The corresponding keys that match the cuffs that are in their possessions. It's a super simple concept, but it's carried out in this story masterfully and to great effect.
Man.
Let me explain. You would expect that as they split up, the characters would end up stumbling into, by chance, opponents that best complement their power set. But in actuality, they encounter folks that both do and don't, making it feel all the more authentic, leading to the natural progression of the various Straw Hats swapping and exchanging.
They do, don't they? They end up like switching opponents in that at times,
highlighting for me their respective character flaws. This was specifically evident with the character of Sanji, who was reprimanded by Nami for this very reason, but with a hint that she might actually be growing to like Sanji a bit more, but maybe I'm reading too much into that. Another character for me that shone during this section more than he ever has in the past was Chopper. The added complexity to his already established Rumble Ball mechanic, allowing him to stockpile 2 and 3, serving up more and more severe consequences, is an extraordinarily compelling touch. Similar to the gear system Luffy now has, Chopper has the ability now to take seriously dangerous chances, and in this case, manifested in one of the most awesome transformations I've ever seen. I didn't see it coming, and holy hell, was it awesome!
It looks amazing.
And what it means for the character.
But he goes berserk, don't he? You can't tell the difference between like friend and foe.
And finally, what I liked during this segment, besides the funny giraffe antics,
Giraffe fight was class.
was what Sanji said to Usopp. After Sanji, the hunter, makes his daring last-minute rescue, he impresses upon Nami and Usopp the gravity of the situation, that a buster call has been made, that they only have so much time left, and that they need to all play to their strengths. Looking Usopp in the eye as he's lying in agony to play to his strengths, and to, quote, read the situation. And read it, he most certainly does. Final section. This final section is thrilling, fun, and intense, and includes a fantastic fight.
Oh, mate, the fight's class.
It's everything a great fight needs to be, but it also happens in tandem with the most compelling and anxiety-ridden moment I might have experienced in my entire life. So, There are seconds left, right? The entire island
okay.
is being destroyed the same way Robin's home was. The director of CP9 is dragging her to the gates for delivery to the world's government, which on its own just has tons of
He's
symbolism,
brutal
but we're
now.
not even close to done. Everyone is hurting or out of position. As I mentioned earlier, Luffy already has his hands full with Lucci at this very second.
Yep.
And Frankie, who was running to save Robin, gets halted in his tracks by a trip mine. Nothing is going the team's way.
Not at all.
Robin is going to be captured and that the day is lost when...
Go ahead. Sniper King.
I leapt out of my chair
Yeah.
and ran around.
As soon as I see that, I was like, yes.
By surprise,
Yes.
in this arc has been used better than perhaps any other character.
Yeah.
And that's saying something because some of these characters in this arc have been used to genius effect. He's the most flawed and human out of all of the Straw Hats, and he's the absolute best underdog that always...
Definitely. As soon as you see him do something good, you're just like, ah, go ahead, lads.
Going through Gear 2 a number of times, and even pulling out Gear 3, destroying the building itself. After he barely manages to scrape a win against Lucci, Luffy seems to be on death's door. He can't move. And who shouts down to him but Usopp? What exceptional character growth and storytelling, with the arc itself ending in what I believe to be the single most exceptional and emotional sequence I might have ever read through. They jump into the water listening to a voice that was calling for them.
Oh, mate, nah, don't do this.
Nothing they have ever heard before. And man, let me tell you, I was not ready for what I was about to say.
Don't make me relive this.
The Mary. I personally found myself in an emotional confusion at the end of the
I threw the manga away because I was crying. I sat there with my girlfriend and I just threw it. It's like, I can't do this.
Rich and purposeful, but there was something hanging in the air for me that I wasn't sure about, so I decided to chat with some of my friends who knew One Piece better than I did. I specifically didn't discuss the spirit of the Mary in much detail in my last video, as I wanted to wait and see how the entire sequence regarding the ship and its existence within the greater story played out. And on a plot level, I had a small issue with how this scene at Frankie's place manifested. When it was revealed to us that there was some mysterious repairman fixing the ship on Skypia, that begged the question to me, who is that? This is a mystery in fiction, and in this instance, this is the story asking us to figure out who this is. However, when it's revealed what it in fact
it's the spirit of the ship.
I was sort of taken aback because there was no way I could have identified who or what that was with the information available to me at the time of the story. Which, while I was reading that scene in Water 7, left me sort of underwhelmed, as I had been expecting there to be some surge of insight for me to get that aha moment. A sudden revelation that allows me to make sense of everything that happened before. And on a plot level, that's a perfectly fine way to view or take it as a reader. I'd be lying if I was saying that I wasn't at least a little surprised when I found that there wasn't more behind the identity of this person fixing the ship.
Really?
The only instance in the story where that spirit is brought up after the moment in Skypia was during the instance where Frankie was explaining it. I'm not including the instance in G8 as that's not part of the story Oda wanted to tell. So, in terms of plot, because the audience didn't have the tools to solve the question posed by the story, on a plot level, in that instance, I felt a little disappointed.
What?
However,
Really?
as the story continued and the end hit its mark, something else came to my attention. Something that hit on a much more emotional, thematic, and profound level. The Mary is, much like the rest of the crew,
a member of the crew?
Small little upstart that's ill-equipped for the challenges of the Grand Line.
Right.
It serves as a home and a vessel for the crew admirably, but it wasn't really designed to leave the East Blue.
No.
It is, in a sense, just like Usopp, trying its best but failing to keep up. And because of its reality, the crew now has no choice but to upgrade to a new ship in order to adapt to the upcoming challenges of the Grand Line and beyond. However, and to Usopp's point in the Water 7 arc, it's still a member of the crew.
Yeah, it's a member of the crew.
This whole saga, from the gambling and Davy back fight, to the Aokiji altercation, to the fight between Luffy and Usopp, and even the confrontation in Enies Lobby, it's all been about keeping the crew together.
Safe, yeah.
In particular, it's been about Luffy's growing awareness of how he needs to constantly grow, not only to fulfill his ambition, but to protect his crew from the increasingly fierce and formidable obstacles thrown their way. And that growth means that he needs to become more adept at identifying unnecessary risks, and so he elects to get a new ship when he's made aware that the Merry cannot sail further. This is, of course, in keeping with his other larger, more prevalent leadership growth moments, but it also confirms Usopp's biggest fear, that Luffy will abandon crewmates that are no longer useful.
Yeah, right, okay, there we go, right.
Usopp, since it's a gift from Kaya, and since he's the one who repairs it, Usopp's identity is intertwined intrinsically with
the ship, yeah, right, okay.
Yeah,
this is very valid, it's all very valid.
Because unlike the rest of the crew, he's just a normal guy. His dreams are less ambitious, and he's struggling to keep up. However, with that said, Usopp pulls through his Sogeking, proving crucial at the Enies Lobby encounter
He
without
can
having
step
to
up,
fight
man.
or
He
take
can
down an
step
agent.
up.
At the end of the day, he pulls through. So it's fitting that the symbolic equivalent of Usopp also pulled through in the end.
Yeah.
One last hurrah of being useful despite all the odds, despite common sense, despite having no setup. It is the Straw Hats' home's last hurrah, and its loss served to punctuate that the Grand Line is dangerous, and that Luffy and co. have to step up their game in order to avoid losing another member of their crew. The thematic significance of the Merry in this instance is obvious. It literally took every one of these characters away from a trapped mundane life as an outcast.
Yeah.
To
Brought them all together.
Adventure, ambition, and friendship. It changed their entire lives, so on an emotional level, it makes sense to personify it and give it impossible odds to overcome. Like Rocky, it's an underdog. Its success isn't on the cards, and yet it pulls through. The fact that it's unexpected is the point of why it hits so emotionally in the first place.
Mate.
It's why it carries with it so much meaning in the end. And it's why its final words hit so powerfully and emotionally for me at the very end. Absolutely destroying me emotionally.
Yeah.
Whether or not it's effective in overcoming the plot contrivances is subjective, and I accept that, of course, but I think in a shonen, it's very understandable that it went for emotional resonance, as that's what people are going to remember when plot details fade and the series progresses into deeper and more fierce oceans of the story. The story of Enies Lobby is not something for the faint of heart, but it is one I won't soon forget. It's an exceptionally well-told tale of...
I literally went on Twitter and I was like, I can't believe I'm crying over a boat. And like a few of you were just like, yep, join the... Welcome to the crew.
But also the friends and family that we have seen built over the last 100 plus chapters. And I can't wait to see what they do next.
Yeah.
Post-Enies
Lobby.
Oh my god, this arc was absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Let's
Okay,
go.
So let's go over some things, but it's going to be impossible to cover everything. We learn a whole lot more about Luffy's past.
Yep.
That it looks as though he may have been raised by his grandfather,
Who's in the Navy.
Vice Admiral in the Navy, which on its own is crazy, but he also comes flanked by Kobe, the very
Kobe,
first
that was so
person
cool.
after leaving his village
I love
at the beginning
that.
of the story, and Helmeppo from way back when he met Zoro at the very beginning also. And by the way, this progression that these two guys share doesn't come out of nowhere either. As like
No, we've had the cover story leading up to it.
Pay attention to the front pages
Yeah.
of each chapter that at one point showed us the story of how Helmeppo and Kobe have gone on various adventures together with the Navy. And would you look who's in the picture with them? It's Monkey D. Garp, the grandfather of Luffy, but we just didn't know it at the time.
Yeah, we didn't know who he was. Yeah, it's class.
Attention to detail in the series, and it's always purposeful.
There's other stories going on, man. Well, even
And you know what
is
else
Zero,
crazy?
what his name?
This
He went
is
to the moon.
Luffy's dad,
Oh yeah, Dragon.
D. Dragon.
Yeah.
Great name. In addition to his grandpa, this is another person that has the will of D, and on top of that,
What?
it explains the reasons
Don't tell me.
why he helped them back in Logtown. I'm extremely interested to see how this character.
He's a
Monkey
big
D.
player
Dragon
by the
plays
sounds of
into the
things,
rest
my
of the
God.
story as it follows. Switching gears, as expected,
Switching
Frankie
gears.
joins the crew, but not before showing us what he spent the 200 million berries he stole on. New, incredibly valuable wood, and together with the rest of the shipwrights and Frankie family, they build a stunning ship called the Thousand Sunny, and it looks awesome. Naturally, as I expected, he also comes along as the crew's shipwright.
Hell
and
yes.
I about that. I found him to be an exceptionally engaging and fun character.
And he fits in with the crew, man. I love him. He's great.
Into staying is both fitting for his character and hilarious, forcing him to run around town without his speedos on. Oh, also, at the last hour, Zoro highlights to all of us why he's a perfect number 2 to Luffy. His emotional maturity far exceeds most of the crew, and thus
Definitely.
Usopp is
He is the
welcome to
dad of
rejoin
the group.
but he needs to flat out apologize without reservation. And he goes on to say that if
Oh, Usopp tries to come up with so many different excuses, doesn't he? Yeah.
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 I think is fair, but also tense for us as readers because we just read through a sequence with Usopp running through various lines in his head,
so I was like, dude, just please, please.
Again, I feel like a broken record here, but the writing and motivational factors in each of these scenes with Zoro and Usopp feel so appropriate.
Yeah, it makes sense, man. It fits in with the characters.
Drama, everything just feels natural. And the way that this scene plays out is almost extremely sad here. Usopp begins naturally cycling through lines as they sail away, but no response from Luffy or Zoro.
He's waiting. He's waiting.
Can't hear him. But as soon as Usopp says sorry and accepts accountability for what he had said and done before, Luffy's arm stretches back, leading to the two embracing
let's go.
together once again, which fills me with all sorts of joy.
Yeah.
And that's not all. This freaking mini arc just keeps on throwing more and more at you. It seems
everyone's got about the wanted poster.
Even Chopper, who gets 50 berries. But with this, we get a sequence of scenes wherein the people the crew have left behind in their respective.
Oh yeah, we see everybody, don't we? Yeah, like shows all the different places. I thought that was boss.
I'm not sure if this is a section people get emotional during, but I definitely did.
I liked seeing everybody. Yeah.
All of these friends have come together. But wait, hold on a second. This, I feel, despite it being played for laughs, might be, I suspect, indicative of something. Something
It does come in, doesn't it? Yeah.
I might not be aware of yet. I feel like this is acting as foreshadowing in some way.
It's hilarious.
This is drawn specific attention to in the story, and so I wonder if it actually has utility later.
It does.
Hopefully we learn more about this, or maybe it is just a joke, I don't know.
It's a hilarious payoff, man. Oh my god, I thought it was boss.
But possibly the single most interesting part of this entire video subject matter for me came in
the archaeology
two scenes. And I'm sure you know the
arc, isn't it? Like it comes into it.
One concerning the discussion between Shanks and Whitebeard, and another concerning the characters of Blackbeard and Ace. Where do I begin? During this scene, a bunch of things come to our attention. Wow, he's big.
He's huge.
Wow, he's sick. Wow, global politics, and wow, Shanks has a weird power that zaps the energy out of everyone he walks past. What's going on there? That's interesting.
They are some big players.
I want to finish this video so that I can keep reading more. Shanks, it seems, has traveled all the way to meet with Whitebeard simply because he wishes for Ace to stop his pursuit of Blackbeard, which Whitebeard flat out refuses to.
He's like, nope.
Seems like a strange thing for Shanks to request of Whitebeard until we learn some more interesting information in the next scene.
Oh yeah, his devil fruit power, yeah. The darkness.
I have no idea what happened in this fight. All I do know is that Blackbeard is bloody scary, and the fact Luffy managed to dodge him when he did before Skypiea was a miracle, if ever I did see one.
Very
and
lucky.
Perhaps Shanks knew that Blackbeard had this power and wanted to save Ace from going into something he was unprepared for. But I want to speculate on something here for a second. This list of names: Portgas D. Ace, Monkey D. Luffy, Monkey D. Dragon, Marshall D. Teach, Gold D. Roger, Jaguar D. Soul, and Monkey D. Garth. Some of these folks are family, but others aren't, which means it's not a family.
I can't wait to find out how this all like
so it's got nothing to do with the powers they share, and they are all at vastly different strength levels. They're also all originally from different places, as far as I'm aware. But I wonder if it has anything to do with a crew that might have existed at one point in time. That they are all maybe descendants of a particular pirate crew. That the Will of D is either a symbol for a particular crew that once existed, that some of these folks were once part of, or their family was a part of in the distant past. Or perhaps these are cursed people and D is a cursed letter. I don't know. There's honestly not enough information.
Yeah, I don't want any spoilers. I can't wait. It's just one of those things that I can't wait to find out how it makes sense.
Or at least I think that's the case. Perhaps the Will of D was something that was quite prominent in the missing 100 years. And
maybe, actually, yeah, that's a good point.
Perhaps. Maybe. All I know for certain is that I'm going to be saying that more and more as the story unfolds before me in the next 500 chapters. And that's sort of why I love Water 7. Certain mechanics and aspects were established as far back as Barate with the Warlords, Loaktown, and Monkey D. Dragon, which still blows my mind and most definitely still has a ton to unravel there. And not to mention the lead up to Alabasta. In real time, these were placed by Oda years and years and years in advance. And the patience and confidence it takes to orchestrate your story in that sort of super long-term fashion is
amazing.
Not only impressive,
absolutely amazing.
For me, makes the catharsis and payoff for these subsequent storylines and character interactions all the more potent. On this journey over the last 2 months, over the last 17 arcs, and over the last 8 videos, I've managed to find not only this incredibly engaging, heartfelt story with the most incredible incredible characters, but it's also allowed me to interact with and become a part of this wonderful online community that you all have so graciously welcomed me into. And honestly, I can think of no greater thing to be so humbly thankful for on my birthday. We might be leaving the War 7 saga behind us, but our journey is far from over yet.
Thriller Bark!
I tackle Thriller Bark, and I hope you'll join me for that too.
I love Thriller Bark, man.
As always, I've been Totally Not Mark. I'll see you all next week, and sincerely, thank you all so much for watching.
Yeah. Thriller Bark is so good. That's the Zoro nothing moment. Nothing at all. Absolutely sick moments. Yeah. I just had a bit of a disagreement with the dealing of the merry-go, but other than that, yeah. I feel like he missed out on mentioning how we get a little insight in devil fruits as well. Like, they don't actually know what the powers are until they eat them, kind of thing. And was it Blackbeard mentions as well that, like, to get his devil fruit, he had like a book that had like the shapes of them all, and he searched for it specifically. So you're not 100%, but you can kind of look at the shapes. So all the devil fruits got different shapes in that, because he had the banana one and the other, and then it gave them. They actually got those abilities there and then in the story. But you can't fit everything in, like, Jesus Christ. And yeah, so I'm enjoying reading these reviews because it does nicely recap as I'm reading it what happens as well. So yeah, special thanks to my patrons. If you want to have your name at the end of every video that I upload, link in the description is down below. $1 a month is all I have to help support the channel. It's greatly appreciated. And thank you guys very much for watching. What do you guys think of that? What do you guys think of this? Click like, subscribe if you haven't already, leave comments down below. Let me know what I should watch and discuss in future videos, and I'll see you guys, yes, all you guys, next time.